Hello.
Hello, Mr. Nguyen, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear clearly.
Wonderful. We're just going to wait for a little bit, just a little bit longer for some other people to come in and we'll get started.
Yeah, okay.
No problem. So where are you out right now?
I'm from Vietnam.
Which city?
I live in Da Nang, a middle of Vietnam. It is a sea beach, a sea city. My city has a beautiful beach.
Oh, okay. I was actually just having lunch with a Vietnamese friend of mine today, so that sounds lovely.
Yes, welcome to you.
All right. And let's see. And we also have Miss Daniela. It's nice to meet you as well.
Yes, I have a just now webplin 1 days ago, but it's very useful for everyone to learn English.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh, no problem. Let's see.
Okay.
And Miss, please correct my pronunciation.
Yeah.
Nascimento?
Nascimento.
Nascimento. Ah, lovely accent. Which part of Italy are you from?
I'm from Brazil.
Brazil. It sounds so Mediterranean.
Really?
Little bit. But I should ask, which part of which state of Brazil are you from?
I live in São Paulo.
Oh, wow. You maybe are you working for the federal government?
No, no, I'm not. In fact, São Paulo is not the capital of the
I
Brazil.
know Brasilia is the capital, but Sao Paulo, yeah, Sao Paulo has many government agencies, so that's why I was a little curious.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big city. It's the biggest city in the South America.
That's what many of my Brazilian friends remind me. They always tell me, Matthew, don't ever forget that there's more of us down here than there are of you up there. Like, I know. I know.
But actually, I was born in the south of Brazil, so maybe my accent is a little bit different from people who were born in São Paulo.
Oh, it's okay. Even though I was born in Texas, my accent is still not usually Texan.
Really?
Yeah. If maybe I should talk more like this if I was gonna be stereotypical Texas accent. How are y'all doing tonight? It's fantastic to see you here. We're going to go ahead in just a minute. I think I will going to wait for one more person, and we're going to begin tonight's topic, which is actually interesting. We talked a little bit about government. We're discussing debate and world affairs today. This is a debate class, so we're going to argue different points. Actually, I will sometimes work as a moderator, but sometimes I may actually argue a position, even if I personally don't believe it. I'm just going to pretend, and we can have a little fun arguing with each other, because that's what international relations is all about, right?
Okay. I hope I have a good vocabulary for this debate. I'm not sure about this.
I think we will be fine. Mr. Nguyen, what time is it over in Vietnam?
Uh, it's 10 or 7 a.m.
Oh, it's just in the
Yes,
morning then. Oh, lovely.
yes.
That sounds
Opposite with your country
yeah.
and meet Daniela, right?
Mhm, mhm.
It's night in your country.
For,
In fact, in my country now it's 1 a.m. A
1
little bit
a.m.
late.
wow, it's only 2100 hours here in Texas, so I still have some time before I sleep. Um, let's go ahead and get started. I would think that would be all right since we can just let latecomers come in whenever they want. So let's discuss a little bit about world affairs. There's so much going on in the news these days. Um, and I see, oh, we have Jesus is on our Verbling chat. Jesus, why don't you join us? That would be lovely. Sometimes we have people join on the Verbling chat, but not in the video. He should join us. Um, so we have a lot of news that's gone on in the world today, and many different opinions. For one, for one example, I think would be of course, Umberto. Please feel free to join us. Let's see. We have a Mr. Ramirez on now. It's nice to see you, sir. How are you doing? Oh, is he spoken? Not yet. So I wanted to ask someone's opinion. Let's talk about Brazil first. Uh, Daniela, your president has actually had a recent embarrassment with her government. Am I correct? There was a corruption scandal recently. Is that true?
We always have this kind of problems here, but yeah. One
I was
more.
a little surprised. I was a little surprised to hear this.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it's true.
Miss Dilma Rousseff, she is Lula da Silva's successor, so I was a little
Yeah.
surprised to hear that.
You know a lot of things about our country, about our president. Yeah,
Oh, a little.
but I think Dilma Rousseff has been working in a better way than Lula has done.
Mm.
Uh, I think that this scandal now is about something that happened in the Lula's government.
Ah, so you would argue that that she's facing a scandal for issues that Lula's administration was in charge of.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in fact, I think she is trying to solve these problems, but what I can see is now when we have some problems in her government,
Mhm.
she solved the problems quickly,
Mm. So you
faster than what Lula used to do.
okay. So you think that maybe even though these are not her problems, that she's addressing them as effectively as she can. You think so? Okay.
Yeah, I think so, in my opinion.
Okay, that's a good warm up to start with. Mr. Nguyen, I'm going to give you a little practice shot. Please get ready. Uh, Now, Mr. Nguyen, being in Vietnam, I wanted to ask you, since I cannot see your face, how old are you?
Um, my eyes.
Just how many years old are you?
I'm 30 years old.
30 years old. Okay, and
Yes.
what's your profession?
Um, I'm engineer. I work in medical company, but
Oh.
I have a just change my job. Before I used to work in Japanese company, so I see in your bed have
Mm-hmm.
a Japanese in after in the world
Mm-hmm.
in the world
Mm-hmm.
in your webcam I see some Japanese.
Yes, that's correct. That's hiragana and katakana.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
mhm.
I can speak Japanese a little.
Oh, please go ahead
Yes,
and tell us what kind of Japanese can you speak?
yes.
Can you tell us? I can speak a little also, and I know Daniela. There's a large Japanese population in Brazil, of course.
Hmm.
Let's try this. はじめまして、私はマットです。
どうぞよろしくお願いします。よろしく
Oh,
ね。
better than me. Oh, chokakui ne. Wow, never mind. I cannot compete. And Giancarlo, are you having connection problems, Mr. Ramirez? I see that. Can you hear me? I think he can. I hope so. So I wanted to ask you, as compared to Japan,
Wait me a second.
no problem. Mr. Nguyen, I want to ask you, since you've been to Japan, this will be our topic for our first topic for debate. Since Daniela has some background with Japanese culture, so do I, so do you, and I believe my friend George Luis is back in. It's nice to see you again, sir. We have. I want to ask you, when you were in Japan, how do you think its economy and society compare to Vietnam?
Um, uh, can you can you repeat again your question?
Of course.
Yes.
Uh, in what ways do you think Japan and Vietnam are similar or different? And which one do you think has the stronger economy?
Oh, actually, um, about counter Vietnam and Japan are some often very similar because long time ago, um, my country and China and Korea and North Korea were affected by China. So some of country use kanji for communicate, but now Vietnam use Roman alphabet for communicate, and Vietnam now is a developing country, and Japan a very strong country. Economy is very good,
Yes,
and invest a lot of in Vietnam,
mm,
Japan. Yes,
yes, I think so. My concern for Japan, though, and I'm going to argue this point, is that its birth rate is so low that in the long term, I do not think it can compete with Vietnam in 50 years.
yes.
Yeah, I
Uh, okay.
yeah, I think my thought is that they will have uh, a difficulty competing against your country or Korea because their birth rate is so small. I think
Yes,
so. Do you
yes.
disagree or do you agree?
Uh, I um, I think a long time maybe population of Vietnam is a good point, and education uh, because population of Japan
Hmm.
more and more down, and very difficult to develop country. I think so, but
Hmm.
I don't know.
I can understand your different opinion, especially because Japan's education system is very strong. But
Yeah.
moving back to uh, I know Giancarlo, you're working on your connection. Moving back to Daniela, um, I always there in my master's degree is actually in political science, and in political science we always say that a kind of a terrible uh, dark joke about Brazil that Brazil has a great future but it will always just only have a great future. Oh, we cannot hear you quite yet, Mr. Ramirez. You sound a little static. Yeah, we still cannot hear you. We cannot hear you very well. So. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. We'll just try and fix it and make it work. So, Daniela, what that means is that Brazil has the potential to be such a great and effective country, but because of its complicated tax system, its the lack of development for some of the Western states, and some of the transfugismo between political parties, some of these things keep Brazil from developing to its full potential. Do you agree, or do you think maybe no, Brazil can become a fully developed country?
I agree, but we don't, if you don't have some changes, especially in our politics and the behavior of our politicians, probably we will have problems with the development. We won't have this development. I think our main problem is corruption, and I think the politicians are don't care about the real problems in our country. They care about themselves. So it's not easy. But I think in the past, we had a hard moment in our life in Brazil. We have a dictatorship.
Dictatorship, yes.
And in 1985, from 1895, we are having democracy again. And I think people are learning to vote, and maybe some of them, especially the older people, need to get used to vote in people who want to do good things for our country.
Yes, I think I agree with you, and I also want to give a little credit to Lula. I know maybe he's not so strong in your thought, but many of his social programs, like the Bolsa Familia, I think are very, very effective.
In fact, he didn't create this program. Who created this problem? I'm not sure, but I'm almost sure that it was made by Fernando Henrique Cardoso.
You think Cardoso, his predecessor?
He created, he started with this process, and I think Lula make this
just expand.
Bigger.
Yes. Oh, I also want to Umberto, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly well. Umberto, where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Ah, ¿qué estado?
From Puebla.
Ah, Puebla, a little bit near the center of Mexico.
Yes, it's the south of Mexico, the state. It's south. It's like an hour from here to Mexico City.
Actually, this brings us to a very interesting debate topic, since we are all from the Western Hemisphere, and it's something that brings us. I think that it's something we can all talk about. Is right now Mexico is going through a major transition in its political parties. Daniela, I'm not sure if you know this, but very recently, the old political party in Mexico that ran Mexico for 80 years, they have been re-elected. The PRI, El Partido Revolucionario Institucional.
Yes.
as somebody from Central Mexico, you're not directly affected by the cartels as much as somebody from
The
like
North.
yeah, someone like the
Yes.
North or Chihuahua. But what do you think will happen with the Mexican drug war, and how do you think it will affect Latin America now that the PRI will take over again?
Well, I'm affected in the fact that all my family is from Veracruz. There
Oh,
is a coast state, and there are many drug wars there.
mm,
And well, I think that when Peña Nieto, when he become president, then well, here we say that there is going to be like an ally with the drug war, and then he's going like to say to the I don't know how to say like the mafia and that stuff that they can sell drugs and do whatever they want, but that they don't mess with the people.
mm. Yes, I hear that as well. Um, my major was poli sci, and my for undergraduate studies I focused on the cartels a lot. I think the PRI have a long history of sort of making alliances with different groups in society. Sometimes workers, sometimes businessmen, sometimes factory cartels or farmers. The drug
Yes,
cartels. I think their natural instinct is to try and negotiate and make a deal with the narcos. So I think maybe you're correct. Um,
yes.
yeah, it's
Well,
different than Prede or Pan. Yeah.
yes. Well, that's what we are like. All the Mexicans say that when he become president, then there's going to be like a big alliance, and that all the mafia that was like several years ago, when the like 12 years ago, when the
Yes.
PAN took the power, then they are going to become again. And then, well, that's the problem. Where here in Mexico, there are many people who says that Peña Nieto is not the elected president. That is
Mm.
another person called López Obrador.
The Prede, the leader of the
Yeah,
Prede. Yeah.
yeah, the PRD. But well, now all the things are like quite normal, and because everybody wants that our country become like in a state of peace. Yes. Well, can you wait me a moment? I'm going to connect my computer to the light
Por
because I
favor,
don't have any
go,
battery.
go ahead, go ahead. So, Daniela, what we were talking about now is that the old political party, which is a little similar to the dictatorship that was in Brazil, they won re-election. So I think he killed.
Oh, well,
What's happening? What's happening? An air flight.
Oh no! We'll just let him finish. Umberto, are you okay?
Yes. Is that I couldn't find like my charger?
It's okay. It's okay. No,
Yes.
no, it's perfectly fine. I was just telling Daniela a little bit because, as you know, Brazil also used to have a dictatorship in the past. Um,
Ah,
and so they had a similar situation with the military and sort of clientelistic people taking their country over. Um, so I think Mexico. I don't think Mexican democracy is going to fail, but I do think you're right. There will be many challenges and maybe corruption in the future.
yes, that was going to happen. They say, well, the election here in Mexico has many abnormalities because many people like they buy his vote and they well there was like the television and other stuff like they hide everything that Peña Nieto did. So well, we say here in Mexico that it's like a fake election.
Yes, I can understand your thinking. Okay, let's move on to a bit north of Mexico, but not much. To be fair, since I want to be a little bit fair, I think we can go ahead and make my country fair game as well. Very recently, the United States has been involved in many things, and of course, we cannot have a world affairs debate if we do not have an opportunity to analyze and argue about American policy, because, of course, my country likes to be involved in everything. Um, so recently, we had an election in the United States, and President Barack Obama was reelected. As my country's neighbors, what do you think this will mean for the Western Hemisphere? Daniela, would you like to go first?
Okay. It's difficult to analyze because in Brazil we know a lot of things about your country, but for us, Obama is a really good president because people in Brazil think he is, especially he has a good image. He represents people like us. He has he has a good family, a beautiful family. He is like a modern person. He's black, and almost of people in Brazil are black or has something
Sure.
ascendant in Africa. He represents a person like me, like anyone. And but I know we need to know if our relationship, commercial relationship, is good or not. And I'm not sure about this. When he has been in Brazil, I think mm, it was a good time. It was good for us. Um, I know few things about it, but now I think uh, for Brazil it's good that Obama is the new president.
Okay.
But I don't have information to say, yeah, I agree or I don't agree with this thing.
Sure, and I think taking a conservative approach or a cautious approach in debate sometimes is good if you don't feel confident. And now, Umberto, what do you think? Our two countries are basically, even though we sometimes don't admit it, we are kind of brother and sister. We just
Yes.
we're actually related. I mean,
Yeah, we are
genetically
neighbors.
related. So,
Yes.
what do you think the re-election of Obama's presidency will have for Mexican and American relations?
Well, the information that I have is that Obama is like a good president, and well, the fact that he is like black and that he has to fight so he can be president here in Mexico, well, we respect that, and well, I think that Obama is like more kind to us that I think that the other president will be. Well, I had heard that well, my future president Peña Nieto had like a meeting with him, well, they are going like to find a way to make a migratory reform. That well, I think that all my country need that reforming because well, we there is a big problem between the migration that is between Mexico and the U.S. And well, well here in Mexico is well received that he become president, but I don't have like many information about him.
Mm,
So in fact, like Daniel, I cannot say that I agree or I disagree with him.
hmm Yes, and I think that's probably because even I necessarily don't know every policy stance of my president. I think Umberto hits on a strong point. Obama does seem to be viewed as very pro-immigrant and pro-positive relations with Mexico. I think that's one reason he received 75% of the Latino vote among American Latinos.
Yes.
It was a very. It actually surprised the other party, the Republican Party, was very shocked. They never expected that to happen. Of course, being a Texan, I must admit I'm a little surprised that they did not expect Latinos to vote here in my home state. Hispanic people are already almost 40% of the population. I was personally surprised they did not consider to reach out to Latino voters. That's something they will have to change, of course. I think they probably will, if they want to continue. And by the way, I'm going to... Sometimes I will argue as a conservative, and sometimes I will argue as a liberal, to be fair.
Yes.
Okay.
That is... if that's okay, so sometimes you'll be like, oh, he's so mean and conservative, or oh, he's so liberal. It's on purpose. That brings us to a good point, I think. We have I want to check. Mr. Ramirez, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, we
Good
can
evening.
actually hear you a little bit better. All right, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Mr. Ramirez. Giancarlo, where are you from originally?
I'm from Bogota, Colombia.
All right, we have another Colombian, and we also have, let's see, Mr. Juan Rosas. It's nice to see you, sir. Juan, where are you from?
Hi, I'm actually from the United States.
Sweet. What state?
Living in California right now. I cannot
Oh,
see
right.
anybody though.
You can't see anybody yet?
Oh, I think my internet froze. So I can hear you guys just fine, but I cannot
I think
see
we can all see you though. Isn't that creepy?
That's
Yes.
really
All right. So Juan, what part of California are you from? This is perfect. We were actually talking about the
I'm
election.
currently living in Los Angeles. I'm here at UCLA.
All right. This is actually perfect because we were just talking about the election and how really everybody here almost is from Latin America. So we're talking about how the Latino vote was so important this past presidential election.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Would you like to argue as a Californian? What do you think what do you think about the outcome from the last election, and what do you think it says about our voting demographics? So everybody can hear your point.
It says I honestly believe it says a whole lot. I think it definitely says that. First of all, let me try to see what I'm trying to say. I think a major problem of that I think of the Republican kind of stance was that they were going to have kind of their strong, elderly, white men, voting. But what I think happened, they definitely underestimated, I would say, the Latino vote, which it has definitely grown, and it's definitely voter turnout for Latinos is definitely up, and proud to say I was a part of that.
Was this your first election?
Yes, this was my first election, so I was super happy to get out there and vote.
Oh, that makes me... I'm sorry, guys. Daniela and Umberto, that just makes me so happy as an American. I like to see like a young guy vote for the first time. I don't care even what party. That just makes me happy. Because there's so many young people like, I don't want to vote. That takes time, and I want to go on Netflix.
Yeah, no. I think a major part of it was that the university kind of made it incredibly easy. It was actually our voting place was in our residence hall. So first thing I did when I woke up in the morning was after I washed up, brushed my teeth, I went downstairs and I was able to vote.
No, I don't want to.
Ricky Schultz, is that you?
Maybe.
Hey, buddy.
Well, I think that he doesn't come here.
He ran up. He's a former. He actually was a former coworker of mine. He's probably excited that I was teaching online. So, I would actually agree with your point, Juan. That's demographically that was probably a ticking time bomb as a point. So,
Definitely.
yeah, that's even in my home state of Texas. Actually, it scared the sweet bejesus out of some people.
Yeah.
to be named nameless. So we've covered a lot actually now. When Mr. Nguyen earlier, we were discussing East Asian relations. We discussed the current corruption crisis in Mexico, and in Brazil. And let's see, who else do we have? Oh, we have somebody else coming in now. Who is this? Jesus Enrique? Nope, he left.
Well, he
So
left.
I wanted. Oh, Humberto, you don't have to be that happy.
Is that what I see in my computer makes my smile like more happy than
Ah,
yeah,
no.
your smile looks like very like happy, and mine too. I don't know why. I think that my computer froze my image, so my smile is happy and not happy.
Oh, that's terrifying. So you're looking
Yes.
at my face like.
Yeah, something like that. And you too.
That's gotta be I'm sorry, that has to be terrifying.
Yes.
No, I think that's probably correct. But let's go ahead and move on to another subject. I think would be interesting. Let's pick an area that neither of us is from, and we can go ahead and I think have a nice little debate or argue fest over what's going on. Has everybody been keeping? I'm going to pick a region, and we'll argue different positions. Has everybody been keeping up to date about Europe's economic problems? Can we talk about Europe? Do you want to try or?
A little bit. I know there is a recession there,
Recession.
and the
Yeah.
unemployment in high levels. But
That's pretty much all I know also.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yeah, I think these days Greece is probably the worst off, and Spain, of course, which is not doing too great. Italy is not far behind. I just feel terrible, but in particular, there's also the Middle East. Israel and Palestine just got finished having another war.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Heard about that.
Who knows, number 12? I'm not sure. Little out there. Does anybody want to argue a position one way or the other on that conflict? I mean, I think we can, and it doesn't have to be one you personally believe in. I'm gonna just argue the opposite of whatever you say. So that's just how it is. Anybody want to give an opinion or an observation about the current crisis in the Middle East with regard to the Palestine question?
I guess I could say something. I just took a class, and that was kind of the focus of. It wasn't actually this war. It was an older kind of war that was going on, but I don't know. To me, it seems kind of, I don't know. I don't understand war. I guess I feel like these kind of things. I don't know. I know it's very political, and people will talk it up and say, you know, they're making war to make peace, but it just doesn't make sense to me.
I agree.
Okay.
Yes, I agree. I don't think that. I think that war isn't like the way that we can resolve problems.
Well, crud, you guys are going to make me have to play the other side. Okay. Man. Okay. That said, what if one could argue that in Israel's case, that it's acting in self-defense? After all, at first, in this kind, not all of Palestine, but Hamas, the radical government, not in the West Bank, but the Gaza Strip, they fired rockets first, and Israel retaliated first with defensive measures, using its anti-aircraft missiles, and then counterattacked with land forces. So one could argue that if somebody's shooting at you, you have every right to shoot back. Would you have a rebuttal?
Well, is that you take like a big point that everybody has like the right to fight in your own defense. So I think that in that way of seeing the things, yes, you have the right. But the first thing is that nobody has to pass the right that the other has. has, well, that is like a Mexican phrase that Benito
Mm.
Juarez say, that the right begins when, no, like, I didn't know who,
We
it's
have the
like
same
the
before because
liberty.
yeah.
Yes. I don't know what is that saying in Mexico, but it's something like that, like the liberty ends when where the right of the other one
Begins.
begins.
It
Yes,
starts.
it
From
starts.
begin.
Yeah, your liberties end when another's liberties begin. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we also have a phrase in English that says, I forget if it was John F. Kennedy or Franklin Roosevelt, those who would take, or it could be Ben Franklin. Lord, I'm all over the place. Those who would take freedom from others deserve it not for themselves. Means if you would take away somebody's freedom or infringe on their liberty, then you don't deserve it yourself, actually. So,
Yes,
I think, yeah.
that's a good phrase.
Yeah, I think so. I think it is. I try to live by it as much as I feasibly can. Which, well, you can try to do a lot of things, but I did want to ask. So I know that Juan is a university student, and Daniela, may I ask what is your occupation?
I'm a teacher.
Oh, what
graduate
subject?
I graduate in tourism and hotellery,
Mm-hmm.
and in the past I worked in some hotels, and now I'm teaching topics about, for example, how to work in a hotel, what you need to do if you work in a reception, in a restaurant, in a housekeeping department, or in manager departments. You know.
Oh, that sounds fun. And may I ask, Giancarlo, what is your occupation?
I am cadastral and geodetic engineer and also project manager.
Whoa,
Fancy.
that's awesome.
Yes.
Well, I think Giancarlo wins the cool title for today. Umberto, what about you, bud? What do you do for a living?
Well, I'm a high school student, and that's all that I do for a living.
That's
I
all you need to do
only,
right now.
yes, studying.
Yes,
Yes.
I've been a teacher by trade, but recently I was a campaign manager for a congressional race just now,
Okay.
and we won, thank God, by God's grace.
Yes.
Otherwise, I think I'd be facing unemployment, to be honest. But I will either stay with my congressman or I will return to the classroom as a school teacher. I'm not sure yet. I have to make a decision soon, though. But that's actually an important thing. I bring that up right now because we come from different professional backgrounds, and there's a lot to be said that your profession affects how you
See the
look at the
things.
world around you. You see things, that's right. Students and teachers may see things, opposed an engineer may see something different than a government official,
Yeah.
for example. So I think the only country we've not picked on yet is Colombia.
Yes.
So Giancarlo, now that first off, I can hear you wonderfully. I'm so happy about that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think in one recent event in Colombia this past year is our two nations, the United States and Colombia, just passed a free trade agreement with each other.
Yes.
What do you think are some of the benefits or bad things about that agreement?
Well, I think that maybe it's more benefit for United States than for Colombia because you have a whole infrastructure to supply. I don't know how to say. Help to your I don't know. Uh, to the to your local. Oh, I forgot the word.
Consumer base?
No, not the consumer, the production, right?
Yes, the production. That's right.
And we have a problem of infrastructure. For example, uh, we don't have a good way to transport our products to the docks to export, right?
Oh.
So uh, that's a big problem because our products are more expensive to be sold in the United States,
Mm.
right?
Yes.
Compared to your products.
Yes. And
And
unfortunately, I think you would argue that we have a stronger. Our infrastructure provides us a comparative advantage in too many
yes,
industries.
yes, a lot.
Yeah.
And our, I don't know, our strength is in the mm, coffee, flowers, and the other sectors of the industry are not well developed, right?
Hmm. Yes, I think
That's
so.
that's what I think that is more benefit for United States who can because you can sell us a lot of products and we just have we have to count with our fingers the products that we can send to United States, right?
Yes, I like the way that Mr. Ramirez is fashioning his argument, his debate argument, because if you notice, he doesn't argue on a moral reason or an ethical reason. He argues as an engineer.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
he brings up just the straight fact. He's just no. The matter of fact is we cannot export because we do not have the roads to physically export our product. So it caused the price to rise and the barrier of entry to be too big. It's a very methodical and technical argument. Very strong too. I actually, personally, I like free trade, but it's hard for me to argue against that. I'm like, well, I don't know Colombia's infrastructure well enough. I guess the only argument I could offer is that if the one benefit to this free trade is it's not only the free flow of goods, but also the flow of capital, and so now that there's additional capital investment made available for infrastructure development, it is possible to develop a comparative advantage over a period of time. But I think for right now, you're correct that that would take time, and so for right now, there would be perhaps an unfair trade imbalance.
Yes.
Yes, I think so. It's very hard for me to argue that. Man. So let's go ahead and move to another final topic today. Let's pick on a country none of us are from. Yay! Let's talk about, speaking of export, let's discuss our friend China. So, everybody's
Lord.
like, nope. Nope. It's the giant elephant in the room, guys. We have to debate. This is a world affairs class. We have to talk about them, even if we're a little terrified.
Well,
Yes, terrified.
yes. Well,
Okay, so let's go down the list. Let's talk about beginning with Daniela. Daniela, how do you think your country's relationship with China is going to change as the country becomes a more dominant power?
It's very difficult to say this because, especially in Brazil, we have a lot of taxes when it comes to employment. When you have a company, you have to pay a lot of taxes to have your employees and other taxes to produce your products. So when you have a product from China really, really cheaper, it's difficult to have a fair competition, and I feel we are having some problems with this. For example, a small example, today I went out for shopping some lights. You know, on Christmas you use lights
Sure. Yeah.
in front of, and the salesman said, "Oh, we don't have any more this kind of lights because we imported from China, and we order for 1,000, and they shipped, or they send us only 50." And I think, oh my God, we are depending to the China for simple lights to the Christmas.
God help us. Yes. And Mr. Ramirez,
Yes.
with respect to Colombia's international trade, what do you think would be its greater challenge as China becomes a more dominant economic power?
I think that it's a big challenge because also, like in Brazil, here in Colombia, there are a lot of taxes for the companies who employ people. For example, here in Colombia, if your salary is $1,000, you have to pay $650 additional to the government, like the 60% of the salary, to to uh, to guarantee some rights to the workers, and also uh, in taxes, and in the retirement. I don't know how to say the retirement
The
rates,
pension. Yeah.
the pension. Yes,
The same here.
and that's a big problem because, for example, here in Colombia, we have a big problem with contrabando. I don't know the word in English.
Contraband. Yeah.
And there are coming a lot of products from China. Uh, for example, a pair of shoes for $1,
Hmm.
and we produce one pair of shoes for maybe $20 or $30, right? So uh, I try, I try to buy Colombian things all the time, Colombian stuff. I don't like to buy things for China or another country if my country can produce it, right?
Sure.
So
Understandable.
it's understandable, but it's a big challenge.
Hello.
Have a free competition with China. It's very difficult.
I think so. And so maybe it will be some time before you agree to a free trade agreement with China. Umberto, Mexico has a strong advantage with its production infrastructure. It tends to be a very powerful trade partner. But what do you think will happen as China develops? Your final thoughts.
Well, I think that China has like take many ideas of the countries because well, Mexico produced tequila, right? But now China wants like to produce tequila for itself. And well, here in Mexico we are making like some legalization that they cannot make it. Well, if they make it, they can't import that product here in Mexico. And well, China is like a big giant in that stuff because well, my father sells fabric, and well, we buy all the fabric from China, and well, they are like giants because they have like many production and many things. And I think that well, it's not fair because they only like they are like a monopoly because they are going to take away all the economy of the countries, and they are going to stay with everything. So I don't know. I think that well, here in Mexico, we have to make like more taxes to all the China stuff that come here because everything that you buy from China is like very cheap, and also is like very well, it's cheap, and also you buy it and then like in a week or two, it doesn't work. It like it has like a bad quality. So I do what my partner from Colombia does. I buy like all Mexican things, and I don't know, I buy all the things that can be produced in Mexico, from Mexico.
Very good. And on the Verbling chat, I wrote a vocabulary word. You were saying a tax on items coming in from China. The English word for that would be a tariff.
Tariff?
Yeah, a tariff.
Yes.
It's just a tax on an import. And final thought now, Juan. Well,
Yes.
what do you think about? I mean, everybody talks about the G2, right? That China and America will determine the
Yeah.
fate of the world. I think that's a little bit egotistical, maybe.
Yeah.
A little bit, little bit arrogant. But what do you think
Yeah.
our relationship with China is going to be as they develop?
I don't know. I mean, I honestly feel like China's kind of it keeps growing and it keeps growing, and I feel like a lot of people I've spoken to are kind of worried about America, I guess, kind of losing its, I don't know, its greatness.
Its power, no?
Yeah, and honestly, like, I don't know. To me, it kind of seems like, and I don't know if this is me just because I'm like young or whatever, but I don't know. I feel like America losing its greatness. Like, I feel like, what is, I don't know, like, greatness? Like, what does this have to do?
Yeah, like the empire is going to fall down, no?
Yeah, and but it's just, I don't know, like, it's just, like, I feel like a lot of people are just kind of worried about I don't know, our popularity, you know, like, we're supposed to be #1, you know, or something like that, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I don't personally care about being, you know, the #1 country or anything like that. I feel like there can't be a #1 country, but I feel like definitely, economically at least, I guess there can be a #1, and I think at this point, I'm sure that the president is trying to, you know, work things out with China, and I mean, China needs us. I mean, we definitely import more than we export, so I feel like they definitely kind of want to maintain a relationship with us. Where that relationship is going to go, I don't think I can say.
Well, this was a wonderful meeting of the Western Hemisphere. I think we're all officially terrified. I think we can speak for all of our compatriots in the United States, Mexico, Colombia, and Brazil that our 4 great nations should just be panicking right now. Who knows? But guys, this has been a wonderful session. I think we practiced a lot on debate. I really appreciate everybody's opinion and logic. And excellent work, everybody. This was a wonderful, wonderful session. Please keep looking at the teaching schedule on the Verbling website, so you can see not just my own classes, but the classes from upcoming teachers. They're going to be like this, many different categories, many different topics. Some debate classes like this, also business-related classes, job interview, comedy. Just regular conversational English.
Will there be, sorry to interrupt, but will there be like these kind of things but in different languages? Because kind of already speak, you know, you know.
I'm not certain.
I'm
not certain about outside of my own language, but I would keep a look at the class schedule as they expect.
Okay.
Okay, guys?
Okay.
Well, everybody have a wonderful evening and get some sleep, and I look forward to seeing you again on Verbling soon.
Maybe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hasta luego.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.